Rees, Rhian. Now, what Halloween would be the same without the shape himself? You guys ready to meet your new man? Mr. Jim Courtney. Jim, come on out. And finally, the man who made the magic happen, director David Courtney. And also, makeup puts on it's Vincent Van Dyke. Sorry, everybody said you were ready. Come on out. The reason why I forgot this is way better looking than me. Because we started working together when we were just wee lads, and look at us now, huh? Well, look at you now. It's crazy. No, you too, man. I didn't look at you. You're like half the size, so congratulations on all the hard work you're putting in. Thank you. All right, good night, guys. So, Rhian, when did this idea to resurrect the franchise come to be? I ran into Malek at Halloween Horror Nights, and you were feeling great, and we were feeling great, and things behind the scenes at a much higher level were already moving along, which was great. And the next thing I knew, Malek, myself, Miramax, Jason, we were all sitting in a room figuring out what we could do. So it was I was more like just kind of teeing it up. And yeah, and Malek, you could talk about the behind the scenes on the right side, because I don't know.
Please, Malek, tell us the tale. Tell us, of course, about the involvement of John Carpenter.
Well, a miraculous thing happened on the way to Haddonfield, and that was when the rights came out of the previous studio. I'm sure most of you know who I'm talking about. We had spent 6 years trying to get another film going, and my biggest concern was they just didn't realize what they had and the attraction that this franchise has and how deeply the fans care about it. We were talking. I was being asked to shoot in Serbia for no money, and it was pretty much a nightmare. A miraculous thing happened when that ended. We were able to look around and partner up with people who do get it and who, and as you've seen, know how to market it, know how to make it. It's just been amazing. And speaking of John Carpenter, as soon as those rights came up and I was sort of free of that, he was the first person I went and saw, and I just said, you know, you've got to be a part of this, and everybody collectively, we're so excited about that and on board with that. But that fateful day is what led to all the stars aligning, and Jamie and John and David and Blumhouse, and so I do call it the sort of the miracle day, and here we are now.
And so we just started putting ourselves in the mind of our own appreciation of the original film. You know, loving every film that's been made in the franchise and appreciating them, but wanting specifically to honor Carpenter's 1978 film. When we got to the core of what we were responding to about that movie, it was the simplicity. It was not motivation. It was not justification. It was not an elaborate backstory. It was something very primal and unexplained. And that's what really terrified us about that. So then we said, what if? Would the world hate us? Would the world reject us? if we said there was no Halloween 2 and beyond, but we started right there. So it was an initial like kind of novelty idea that the more we started following that thread, the more we started finding a narrative that we really liked because of its raw simplicity.
Do you guys like the mask? Woo!
I mean, it all starts with the director, David, and you know, the point was, after all these years and all the sequels and things like that, you want to give the fans what they want. You want to give them that classic. And in the context of the story had taken place 40 years later, after the first movie, and all the other movies go away. If that mask doesn't look like Michael Myers, if it doesn't have that shape, if it doesn't have that silhouette, pardon the pun, then it's just not going to work. You know, it's just, you're not going to pull it off. So we had a great team of artists, myself, Vincent, Justin Mabry, everybody at Vincent Van Dyke's shop. We're all Halloween fans, and we're all Michael Myers fans, and we all study photo after photo after photo, and masks, and 40-year-old masks, and how they decay, and again, the silhouettes and the hair. You have to sculpt the hair. It was just a lot of work, and it was a collaboration of a lot of people that wanted to see that character return and wanted to do right by the context of the story, do right by David and Malek, and for the fans mostly. You know, we just wanted to make everybody happy. So we worked really hard, and I think we got close. We could do better, but we got close.
Yeah, I don't know what else to add to that. I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head, though. It's all about going back to the roots of that original mask and really trying to pay a nice homage to it and then age it and distress it in a way that feels believable and natural.
Yeah. The other thing, too, is a lot of people, like, you know, you have to take a bit of cinematic and artistic license with the decayed look of a mask. You can't look. If you took the original mask as it is today and you stuck it on the guy's head, it'd be laughed off. Like, you couldn't use it. It just wouldn't work. So you have to take a little bit of cinematic license there and have a balance. And also the guy wearing it and David, the way David shot it and Michael Simmons lit it, that was really important.
I was just going to add, the first day that Chris brought the mask to set and Jim put it on, and we're in the back of a house and we're you know, preparing for the film, and we see it kind of in the shadows off in the distance down the hallway. I see them preparing for it, and it was a chilling effect. Like you got the feeling that you wanted. You got the feeling, but it's present. It's not on a movie screen. It's in the house that you're in, and you hate it. You're drawn to it. There's something absolutely horrifying about its almost vacancy. It's there's a subtle melancholy to it that I love, and just seeing the subtle movements as Jim started to possess that character, and you would see the slightest head tilt or those things really start to echo, and then all of a sudden we knew we were on something. That was right before we started production, and it gave everybody that thrill, that chill that said we're going to get it right.
So I had Justin Mabry come in, who's an excellent sculptor at recreating that look, and we had that mask, and we ended up not shooting it, we ended up not using it. Those exist, and they're probably worth a lot of money.
Well, I was just going to say, you know, to keep in mind what's in the spirit of Carpenter's film, this is a low-budget movie, and to us, as much as that's a challenge every day, it's also an opportunity to innovate, and you have an idea of what something's going to be, and then you can't afford it, or you don't have enough time. I mean, principal photography was 25 days, and so, you know, you have a lot of things that are in your head, and you've got to get it. It's my first horror movie. I don't want to be in this room with a bunch of people pissed off at a movie we made. So we have all these especially horror fans. And so we had an introduction, like we had a prologue in the script that in my head as a writer thinking, well, the new fans are going to need this to give us some setup. and this isn't giving anything away from anyone that hasn't seen the movie, but it was people are going to need the setup. So let's pick up with a little, a moment in 1978 that has a glimpse of the climactic bedroom sequence, has a glimpse of a 78 Myers, and we'll get little glimpses that can give us some context for our movie to start, right? So it was under construction. I mean, the actual original house had been visited and measured to the inch, and it was the frame and the room had been starting to be built. We're looking at our schedule and our budget and thinking, this prologue's costing a lot of money, it's taking a lot of time. And then in consultation with John Carpenter over the script, he's like, kill the prologue, buddy. Like, nobody needs it. You get right to your story, get right with what makes it, everybody's gonna have seen the movie. If they haven't, they should. And they will. And he had that great confidence about it. So we said, okay, yeah, you're right. I could save the time and money, but we have this set half built. And then one of the great opportunities that Sean in the art department came up with was, let's use it for our climax in a remodeled way that's a very subtle, subconscious callback in a way that it was a fun way to reutilize something that was being constructed for a different purpose. But then now when you look at it and you see where we go at the ending of the film, you just think, how could that not have been designed all along? So you kind of feel like the horror gods are navigating this ship in a lot of ways, and we've got a lot of amazing artists and technicians utilizing both cost-effective and the dreams of being an 11-year-old watching a movie your parents told you never to see is all coming to life. And the enthusiasm on this set, the opportunity of these iconic characters in this franchise was something that actually you can all imagine, and it was really a crazy, goosebumped honor for 25 crazy days.
I cried a couple times. I'm not ashamed to say that.
So, Rhian, actually, first, has anyone here seen the movie yet? Oh, shit. So, Rhian, tell us about your character for those of us who hadn't seen the movie and how you play into it.
I play Dana Hayes, who's a podcaster over from England, and me and my co-star, Jefferson Hall, who says hello, by the way. He's in San Francisco right now. He is a little bit exploitative and has, let's say, lack of patience with Michael Myers in the sanitarium. He obviously taunts him and gets the desired reaction, I'm sure. Yeah.
Were you a fan of the Halloween franchise?
To be honest, I hadn't seen it because I'm a bit of a scaredy puss cat. I haven't seen many horror
Okay,
films.
everyone shame her right now.
But it made it better being in this horror film because I was naturally very terrified.
Tell us about the first time you saw Jim in full shape for Galileo.
Well, I just had a conversation with him 5 minutes before we started doing our scenes, and he was the nicest, sweetest man. He was telling me all about his cat and how his cat came along with him in his trailer. And I was like, oh, I have to be really scared of you. That might be tough because you're so nice. But then as soon as he was in the full costume and makeup, and he was behind that door dropping those teeth, it wasn't that hard to be scared.
So Jim, tell us about what you wanted to bring to the role of Michael Myers. Like, where is Michael Myers at after these 40 years have passed?
That's an intellectual question that I don't have an answer for because I didn't intellectualize anything about this character. I studied with Stella Adler and had Royal Academy coaches, and there are very distinct ways that normally I would work on a character. But for this one, it goes back to a great old comedian, comic actor named Ted Knight.
This was in my contract. I'm supposed to be at every one of these, and look, they didn't invite me. Come on. No, I'm just kidding. Are they doing okay, you guys? Okay. Bye.
What? Come back here. See, he's an old guy, he's loud and this. So,
Thank you, Dave. This cast, what is here, guys? You can do better than that for the original movie, man. Let me hear it. Back to you, Jim.
So there's this great old comic actor I'm from the Mary Tyler Moore Show named Ted Knight, and I was a young actor, and I met him. And one of the great gifts he gave me, he was a very generous man, and one of the great gifts he gave me was the importance of emulating if you're going to be an actor. And so, and he said, when he told me to emulate people walking down the street, emulate your mom, and he told me there had to be sort of an empathic quality to that. I had to feel into them. It's not intellectual, I'm going to move my feet this way, I'm going to move my hands that way. What it's really about is feeling into that person and feeling what they feel like, because what they feel is how their face expressions are driven, how their body motivates. And so for this particular character, when I got the call to go down and put on tape, I looked at Halloween, the original Halloween, knowing that all I wanted to do was embrace the energy of the entire thing. So I made no notes, I didn't talk to Nick, and there was a moment when I was watching the film, and there's a moment when Nick is walking through the backyard, camera left to camera right, really quick shot, but I was watching the film and I went, I got it, I've got that energy. So everything that I did from that point forward, when I went down, I put on tape, when I went and I dated, and when I went to work, and David and I had a nice conversation about cat-like movements when he called me, and we talked about the way David envisioned him moving and these cat-like movements, and I was really fully resonating with that already. My cat was in my lap at the moment that David called me and talked to me about it. So I have not intellectualized, and I never have, and I don't think I ever will intellectualize this character, because to me, this character is a space, a place, and an energy, indefinable in my world. It just is. And I'm the guy who's was lucky enough to inhabit that space. It's a very deep space. And it's beyond duality, it's beyond light and dark, good and bad. It just is. And it's a really powerful, beautiful space. So that's my story, I'm sticking to it.
Transition into something where I'm working on one of the biggest franchises in history, and I'm a diehard fan of it. It's crazy. But again, it's all about passion. It's about letting people know you're passionate about it, and letting people know, if you're a screenwriter or a director or a makeup effects artist, let people know that, scream about it, show people your work, and great opportunities will come along. Amen.
And to see where it is now, he would just be the happiest guy. He fought for a long time, taking a lot of chances to keep the franchise going, to start the franchise, to keep it going, and against a lot of odds. And he really, honestly did it because he loved the fans and he loved the project. And I can guarantee you, no one would be happier than him right now. So thank you for that lovely round of applause.
This is where I lived with Michael Myers. David, Malek, and all those guys, Rhian, they were clear on what they wanted. They wanted they wanted someone to come in who was in the age range and had a certain physicality. So David never said anything to me about affecting my movement or affecting myself as if I were an older man. It was just, for me, I'm a 61-year-old man, but I have the blood work of a 30-year-old man. I train as hard as I did when I was in college. I eat really well. Sometimes I drink too much, like I did in college. and so, you know, it's really in the realm of not only possibility, but probability that this Michael Myers would be a very strong, very agile athlete in his 60s. And I think tapping into the deeper vibration of what it means to be a human is something that the Michael Myers character does, because he is boundless. And most human beings are bound by their thoughts and by their belief systems and by their fears. Michael Myers doesn't live in that world. It's just a place of being. Thanks, man.
There was a couple ways to look at it. Are we going to kiss the ring of the Godfather, or are we going to invite him into our crazy circus and let him be a part of making the creative decisions of the world that he created in the first place? And so I went in with very limited expectations, but such high hopes and enthusiasm. We're in his house. There's a Starman poster on his wall. I mean, you know, there's I talk about the nostalgic kid in me because he just won't stop making movies. And so I'm seeing this, and Danny and I are just looking to each other, like nudging each other. We can't believe we're in this dude's house. His phone goes off, and it's the Halloween theme, and so many things of that were just this beautiful opportunity for two guys. I mean, Danny and I went to film school together and been talking about making horror movies since we were 19 years old together. And so then we're there and we're pitching the idea. He's kind of nodding, and then he has some ideas and some questions, and it was that kind of immediately, not just a yes or no, or it wasn't just kiss the ring of the Godfather. It was like a creative energy right out of the gate, and then just, you know, almost just blurting out. I was like, "And will you do the music?" And then he just kind of smiled and he said, "We'll see about that part." So it became this very warm environment, a safe place to throw crazy ideas and hear how he'd respond. And that initial meeting was, the adrenaline that I had at that point was quickly replaced by just a comfortable creative collaborator.
We worked closely with the heads of Universal and Universal Marketing, and we just agreed Halloween was the best title. You throw a 2 on it, or a 3, or a subtitle, or something on it, it just confuses matters. And, you know, we want to get an audience that not only knows the original film, but is also probably new to the series as well, and it made sense. I mean, why call it anything else other than Halloween for right now? It's 40 years later, we threw a Halloween 40, that didn't make sense. So just call it, I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So it doesn't matter. It's just a title, I feel. Even as a fan, I mean, like, what matters is the movie, and the movie's great. So it's just one more Halloween spine on your shelf. You know, and it's all good. It's all good, guys. And I subscribe to the theory of the kind of choose your own adventure nature of it. Jeff Nelson over at Scream Factory, I think he was the first person to talk to me about it. He's like, I love the fact that I can have your film on the shelf, and then after Halloween, I can go Halloween 1 to Halloween 2, Halloween 1 to Halloween 2018. I can go Halloween 1 and 2 to 4, or then H2O. So choose your own adventure.
You get artists like Christopher and Vincent on your project, and all of a sudden start seeing what's showing up on set, there becomes another opportunity beyond what I had imagined. And I guess I had assumed, because of our budgetary constraints and because of this and that we wouldn't be able to get away with some of the things that when they showed up on set, I was like, we're filming it, and then I'm in the editing room like, we're using it. Because, so there's a line, and we cross it sometimes, and there's some gnarly shit in it. So I hope you enjoy that part as well.